Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic Heroes for the Nintendo GameCube. In the last episode, we completed the final story. However, things are far from finished. As you can see, under the challenge mode, every team has a selection of extra missions. Overall, to 100% Sonic Heroes, you need to play each level a total of 9 times at the minimum. To get all of the A ranks, to get super hard mode, 9 times. And that's still better than Shadow the Hedgehog. So for the first set, we're going to be doing this in the same order as we did the story modes. We got Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Rose, and Team Chaos 6. And their extra missions are pretty consistent with each team. And by that I mean each team does the same thing for each extra mission, but that mission is different for each team. So, Team Sonic is all about time attacks. Get to the end of the stage before time runs out. Team Dark, you have to defeat 100 enemies, and those A ranks, like the boss fights, are based solely on time. Team Rose is also based solely on time, and they have to collect 200 rings. And Team Chaos 6 is score based again, just like which Team Sonic is also. And theirs is pretty much just an expansion on the mission they've already done. So if it was a collectathon, you'd have to collect everything, beat the stage without being seen, a time attack, it could be anything. So we're going to begin with Team Sonic. And the crazy thing is, Seaside Hill is actually probably the hardest time attack for Team Sonic. Nothing will ever beat Rail Canyon for Team Chaos 6, but we'll get to that much later down the line. So for Seaside Hill, and this applies for pretty much half the stages really, we got to get to the goal ring in 5 minutes. Most of them are 5 minutes. There's Seaside Hill, Ocean Palace, Grand Metropolis, Casino Park, Rail Canyon, and Frog Forest. For all of them, it's 5 minutes. Lost Jungle, Bullet Station, and Hang Castle and Bingo Highway are all 6 minutes. Mystic Mansion is 7 minutes. And then finally Power Plant, Egg Fleet, and Final Fortress are all 9 minutes. There's never any 8-minute ones. Team Chaotix have an 8-minute one, but there's never for Team Sonic. But these are all about, you need to know which boss fights to do, which ones to avoid. Boss fights? There are no boss fights for extra missions. Which enemy battles you need to actually go for, which ones you need to avoid, which pathways to take, and which is the best formation to be in, really. And since these are all, one important difference between these and Sonic Adventure 2, because these are pretty much the same as the 4th mission for Sonic Adventure 2's levels, where you also had to get to the end within a certain amount of time. The main difference here, though, is that you actually have checkpoints. Now, when you're not going for the A rank, that's all well and good, but it does leave you with one major problem. Of course, if you die and respawn at the checkpoint, you no longer have any of your level ups, which means that things are now going to become much slower for a portion of the level until you can get leveled up again. So if you're going to keep dying at each checkpoint, well, now you have a problem. Chances are you're not going to make it, because again, to get these, you really need to try and level up each teammate as fast as you can, especially the speed formation. Because again, level 3 homing attack is utterly broken, and you want to level up everybody. You know, we'll eventually get quite a lot of flying enemies, so fully leveled up Thundershoot will be great. When we get to all the big strong enemies, the level 3 power formation is great. So you want to try and get your characters to level 3 as fast as you can. So, you know, normally I would just go after all the enemies. Here I'm going to go take this path. Generally, getting the A ranks on these is just do it. Just do it and don't die. I don't know what happened there. Because the time bonus you get for most of these levels, not so much for the 9-minute ones, but for all of the others, the time bonus should be enough to get you the A rank, and generally the A ranks are a little bit smaller than what they are for the normal stages, because obviously you're skipping a lot of things. There are exceptions, and there are a couple where the A rank is actually bigger, because your time bonus is most likely going to be bigger. it's all about mixing the time bonus together with your in-level score. But for the most part, the scores are pretty similar to what we already had to go for in the original versions of the levels. Because there's no changes or anything like that. The levels are still the same. Nothing's changed here. The only times the levels will ever change up for the teams is Team Sonic, and that's with Super Hard Mode. So the levels will never change, so you don't need to worry about not becoming familiar with it. Tails, get into the cannon. And definitely go into this in flight formation. Because although speed formation sends you up as well, it's much slower. So always go into that in flight formation when doing the extra mission. Make sure you're always holding forward here so you can get the maximum speed you can. Although you still have to watch out in places like Bullet Station for that, because obviously we do have that laser that comes out of nowhere otherwise. And the timer will always turn sort of like a greenish yellow colour whenever it starts to... whenever we get down to the final minute. And the characters will start to rush you when you actually get to 30 seconds. Always be like, we better hurry! Eggman does that. It's really funny with Team Chaotix. He just goes, only 30 seconds left! What's the matter with you morons? Yeah, that I like. There's Knuckles telling me to hurry up there. But thankfully we've been able to do this on the first try. In fact, I think I have time to even pick up that 1-up. Even though I'm pretty sure I've already maxed out Team Sonic, and even then, I lose all my lives when I go into Super Hard Mode anyway. But that's it. And that's probably one of the hardest ones. I said this was the hardest before. I should correct myself. Bingo Highway is the hardest. And it's largely just because of how broken the pinball tables are and how easy it is to die on the bingo tables. Again, especially that last one. Where if you die on that last table and you have to start again, you know, I always used to trick where you have your at least one more teammate on standby. But by that point, you're just not going to have enough time. And that will usually be because you have to wait about 20 seconds to actually get onto that bingo table in the first place. And that bingo table is huge, and obviously the later into it you die, the more you now have to go through it again. Just restart, because you're not going to make it. And what's really annoying, I think Adventure 2 did this as well, is if you die, or not if you die, but if, well, die as well, that makes sense. But if you fail, not only do you have to start the stage again, you also lose a life. I can't remember if Adventure 2 did that, I think it did. But I think that's kind of unfair. You know, it's the punishment alone should just be you're starting the stage again. Don't cost me a life with it. Because that is kind of unfair. Anyway, we now have Ocean Palace. This is another one that can be a bit tricky. The main part that's going to be a problem here is the turtles. Because you got to know which turtles to go on. Or at least try and do them as fast as you can. I mean, I generally just stick to the middle. Okay, the character's just stopped in place there. Sonic, on the extra missions, that's the last thing you need to be doing right now. No, on the regular missions, I don't care what you do. But on the extra missions, I'd rather you keep moving. Tails, what was that? I killed the enemy and then Tails just went off in a completely random direction. Like, Knuckles, I can't stop! Yeah, so make sure you don't hit those. There's really nothing new to say here. Because the levels are... there's nothing different to do. Wait, you're doing something different, but the levels are exactly the same. You know, people who can... this is like the thing that people are going to hate the most about Sonic Heroes. If they don't like something repetitious. Like if the story mode alone was too draining when trying to unlock the final story... because you're already playing each level 4 times, you're definitely not going to want to 100% the game. Because it's... even I eventually start to get tired of this. It's not so bad for Team Sonic because you at the very least it can get you a bit tense when you start to run out of time. Team Rose is incredibly easy, you know, because it's Team Rose. And Team Chaotix, it all depends on how well you did the regular mission. Like, you have the potential to now explore more areas of the level, if it's a level that has some exclusive areas for them. At the same time, though, a number of their levels are now going to go on forever because you have to collect everything as opposed to just half of them. So where we managed to get through the likes of Lost Jungle very quickly because we just had to collect 10 Chow, we now have to collect all 20, and the second half of the level, the Chow become a lot more spread out. And that's why you have to fight a lot more of the bigger enemies. This is also an issue with Final Fortress, where it's designed because they want you to play the level in 2 different directions, but the level's actual placements of certain objects don't allow you to do that. Bullet Station, you know, that one has some exclusive areas, which is okay. And then there are going to be some which can go by faster, because you now have to do it without being detected, which means that you're probably not going to stop and try and take out every enemy. Ocean Palace is one. Hang Castle is another. And then obviously there's the ones where we already had to do it. And they'll generally just be like this. They'll be time attacks. So Team Chaotix is once again kind of a mixed bag. There are some good ones, there are some bad ones, and there's Mystic Mansion. Which is thankfully a long way away, but at the same time, I want the checkpoint that I clearly clipped right through. But at the same time, we still have to do it. And I know it will be getting ever closer. And I hate Mystic Mansion. I hate Mystic Mansion for Team Chaotix. We saw that. You could hear me. I was not a very happy person when going through that level. And now I have to do the harder version of it. The longer version of it. Do not be fooled by the lower numbers of the blue torches, because it will take a lot longer. Especially when you don't know where they are. Whee! Ugh, I always get nervous when I do that. Which means I probably shouldn't do it. But anyway. Again, we already have... well, we don't need to bother with the Chaos Emeralds now anyway. We've played the final story. Once again, don't go in there in flight formation. And now let's just hope we can do this fast enough. Let's hope I don't go zooming off to the side like I did with Team Dark. You guys never saw that, but that is exactly what happened. Thankfully it did not happen. Now I just gotta hope I can do this fast enough. Ah! By the way, these things have a name. They're apparently called like a cow or a KO or something like that. Which is weird. And I think if you, like, by the power of hacking, it is possible to actually get hit by them there. Or you jump at a certain angle, it might be. I can't remember how you do it, but it is possible for them to actually hit you there. But you gotta do something really precise. Or if you try and turn the camera around, something like that. I don't remember how you do it, but I've never tried and I never will. Yeah, let's skip all that. Oh, I nearly got 60,000. Damn it, I want it to be even more perfect. Yeah, maybe it's just a TV, but Sonic's actually coming off a bit of a shade of purple. It might just be the TV, because I don't recall ever seeing that before. That's probably why the minute remaining text is green instead of yellow. And again, the characters in this game are really shiny, yet not as shiny as Shadow the Hedgehog. But that's Team Sonic's first set of extra missions. Thankfully, there's no more boss fights we need to worry about. That's it. So next time, we're going to be going through Grand Metropolis. And I will see you guys